Okay, our next speaker has already been introduced. She's actually one of Britain's first most popular activists. She's done tremendous work recently in recruiting women to the cause, getting new female activists on board. She is without doubt one of the probably the most stylish person in Britain. Please welcome Sharon Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks everybody, and sorry I was late. It wasn't a diva moment. It's just that the more you get to know me, I'm a nightmare. I couldn't find the car park. I parked in the car park and forgot where I parked. So, that's me all over. And I couldn't ask for help because I didn't actually know where I was going. And anyway, as I was heading down the street, I had four lovely gentlemen on the opposite side. Fascists! Fascists! And obviously they go, that's her. Well, obviously, they've obviously seen me in the town.
You got told.
So I just carried on really, I'm just going to keep my head up high, you're not going to make me drop my head. And on their little bikes, the crash helmet guy, taking photos of me. But then again, there aren't many women in that gang that look like us, are there, ladies? So I'm okay because I'm on the main road and they're carrying on. And I clocked a pub, I saw a couple of guys in the pub, I thought, right, any trouble? I'll take one-on-one, but maybe two might be a bit difficult for me with my heels. So I clocked the guys in the pub and I thought, I'm right, I'm okay, I'm safe. Anyway, sly little devils waited for me to turn the corner and the pub was sort of further back, and then they pedalled up on their bikes. But because I'm not shy, as you probably can tell, I was like, who do you think you are? You're not, where are the men? I'm on my own, a woman on my own, and you're following me. You're so brave, aren't you? And they carried on, fascist, fascist. So I just shout more. Anyway, this massive guy is getting into his car and he just stops and looks at them and they're like, okay, I'm going. So anyway, so I had a bit of fun getting here, but that's what makes me carry on coming and supporting Britain First. I won't stop because of idiots like that. Call me fascist. How much it drives us all on. Yes. All that chanting didn't ruin my day, and I'm sure it didn't ruin your day. And people were saying, you're doing a good job, and they were disgusted with them. Anyway, so let's get on to business. I was asked to speak today, and it took me a while deciding whether to do it, because I'm really shy. I thought, can I do it or not? But I thought, okay, but I've got nothing dynamic to say, because obviously, you're all well read. So I thought I would just sort of talk about what got me into going to protest. And I'd be, sat at home on Facebook like we all do, and then the Muslim rape gangs kept coming up. Yeah. There was a little bit on the media, but I was doing research into it and realised how bad it was. All these young, vulnerable young girls in our community, up and down the country, being raped night after night by Muslim Pakistani men. Yes. I will never say Asian men, no. They are Pakistani. And it haunted me. I didn't sleep. I was driving around at work. It was on my mind. And so it should have been. It's not something you read and forget. If you actually care about people, it's going to bother you. So I thought, right, what can I do? So I read again on Facebook that the football lads were doing a march in Birmingham. What a great place to start. Full of Muslims. Get in there. So I took myself up to Birmingham and joined sort of groups of males, because going back a year, not many women kind of went on those big demos, so there was little old me there, and there were quite a few reporters around, and this one reporter was talking to some football lads and saying, oh, you're quite intimidating, there's hardly any women around. There's one, and they pointed to me. So she started, she thought, I'll have a bit of that. She came over to me and said, why are you here? And I said, because of the Pakistani men raping the British vulnerable girls. Are you a member of any party? I went, yes, I'm a life member of Britain First. I was so proud of myself. Well, you thought I told her that, I don't know, I've been sleeping with her husband. The look on the face, and she started saying, aren't they this, aren't they that? And I turned around on her. I started interviewing her. Yeah. Tell me where you've got your information from. Prove it to me. And she couldn't. And so she said, I think we'll stop filming now. And all the football lads going, good on you, love, good on you, love. And then a couple of other reporters came over and said, do you mind if we film you? I said, no, I'm not, I know this is my first sort of demo, you'll just try and trip me up. They said, no, we won't. I've just heard what you said to her, I think you're brilliant. So a couple of people started filming, and it got sort of quite viral. Liam Galvin, I think, was a reporter, and he's got quite a large following. And Katie Hopkins actually said, "What a lovely woman! What a brave English woman!" And I'm like, "Cheers, Katie!" So me and Katie are mates now. So that was kind of the start of it. Lots of speakers were talking, about what was going on. And I just couldn't understand why people that were paid to care for these vulnerable girls were doing nothing. Now, if it was white men raping Muslim girls, it would be all over the media. The Muslim community would be up in arms, and quite rightly so. But it would have been stopped. Now, why was it not stopped for our girls? For the Sikh girls? Because they didn't need to stop. They didn't need to. Because nobody was doing anything about it. I believe the girls were believed. The police did believe them, but they had their orders from above. Do not investigate. Because if you investigate that girl, you're going to have 20, 30 more called in. So they didn't want to do anything about it.
You were in risky salary.
And these Muslim men chose these girls because they were the most vulnerable. These girls didn't get the family support that we've got. They didn't go to school. They were in care homes, probably been abused by family members. And when you've got people giving you gifts, saying how nice you are, you take that because you've got nothing else. Then the drugs come, and then they've got you. Now we're all a bit older, a bit wiser, and we've had support, but we all know nothing's for nothing, don't we? And it was payback time for those girls, and they couldn't get out because nobody would take any notice of them. So that was one of my reasons why it gave me the drive to go on these marches, and in my head I was marching for every single girl that had been raped by those And also the 3 boys that, in my opinion, was a terror attack. They were murdered 2 years ago. I've met the family. I keep in contact with one of the dads. If you don't know the story, go and look it up, because I really don't want to go into it, because it is so awful how those 3 boys died on that night. Again, by a Muslim driver and a passenger. He didn't brake. He was driving at 70 miles an hour. He knocked 2 kids over, and he carried on and killed those 3 other lads. And he only stopped because he had the one lad across the windscreen and he couldn't see. And he nearly went into more kids. Now again, the investigation was an absolute disgrace. And when you talk to the family, you actually know the truth of what happened that night. He ran off, and it was called death by dangerous driving. For killing 3 kids, he got 13 years.
Murder by ISIS.
And he's actually got it's been dropped because he appealed. And on the day of the appeal, the family was sent to a different courtroom because they didn't want them to be in the courtroom when they heard it. But all the police officers in there took their hats off as the family walked out because they were disgusted how they'd been treated. So please go, if you don't know anything about the 3 boys, we call them our boys. Because of what happened to them. We've got kids of our own, that could have been anybody. That was a terror attack. His car was his weapon.
Covered up.
There's another one in
Cowardly.
Preston that nobody's heard of. A group of women were rammed, and they said themselves, he rammed us on purpose. He's been done for texting and driving. It's another terrorist.
It all gets milked out.
What was that?
Carry on, Sharon.
Thank you. So that was that. Obviously, Lee Rigby. My son's in the British Army, so that really hit home when that happened. Thank you. So we all know about Lee Rigby. We must never forget him. And then I found Britain First. I'd been a member for about a year, and I wanted to do more. When you go out sort of on protest, it's brilliant. For the first time, I sort of understood why football lads get that sort of singing, chanting. That feeling of being with thousands of people that think the same as you is wonderful, but it wasn't actually enough. I didn't feel I was engaging with the public. So that is why becoming an activist was me. for me, gave me that opportunity to get out on the streets, talk to as many people as I can, and make them see us. You know, we're ordinary people. And we're entitled to our points of view the same as them. And I found, since I've been an activist, I just get loads of a brilliant response, a positive response. So I'm going to keep driving with Britain First. It's brilliant to see everybody today, but you've got to keep coming. You've got to keep supporting.